Thanks, Nico. Hi, Bradley.
Hey,
Uh,
Jonathan.
I think we've all by now seen the news that you have an addition coming to the attacking unit in the next few days. You've had an addition to the midfield unit already, and I wonder what you think at this point, if you think the roster is as full as you'd like it to be, or if there's some parts of it where you'd like a little more depth before the season starts to be fully comfortable.
Yeah, Jonathan, thanks for the question. I mean, there's a lot of chatter obviously out in the outside world, and as long as that window is still open, yeah, there will continue to be a lot of chatter. But right now, all I know is this group that we have on the ground today. All the players we're trying to get progressions here, minutes, get them a good base and a good foundation that will stand them through the whole season. So yeah, I can only speak for the players that we have on the current roster right now here in Clearwater. And we've got a game to prepare for tomorrow against Montreal. So yeah, we've had a good week.
In particular, with center back depth, is that where you want it to be right now? I know Jan had some injury. Granted, a lot of us up here haven't seen him yet, but where is that in terms of having an opening day tandem that you want?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had the opportunity to look at Jan already against Slavia Prague. He had a couple of minutes out there, and then, he's nearing back. He trained with us today fully. So he's integrated back into the group, and he'll be eligible for tomorrow.
Joe Tanzi.
Hey, Bradley, how are you?
Hey, Joe, thanks for finding you.
Um, you mentioned Jan. How are the rest of the guys that were dealing with the small knocks before last friendly?
Yeah, so Nate is nearing. He's got up to like 88% of his top speed. So that's exciting. Hopefully he'll join us in the next couple of days here. So he's not fully integrated. He's still training on the side, but very intensely and covering a lot of ground. Bizo's back in with us fully, which is always very good, just to keep the competition up there. And some players have done really well when they've been called upon. And yeah, the more players that we have fit and healthy, we've put a lot of load, not just physical but also cognitive load on the players. And it's good to see them go through various moments in preseason, right? We've challenged them a lot. So they've been challenged in games. And the more healthy players we have on the roster, that'll push us through and create a lot of layers of competition and yeah, hopefully some great results down the line.
With Bizo and Nate, obviously they're your top two right backs on the depth chart. You've had to adjust more there than any position in preseason. How do you see that going into opening day? Do you think one of them will be ready to go, or do you kind of have to make some adjustments like you have in preseason?
Yeah, I think they might be both ready to go. Obviously we've been working at certain combinations and certain projections and giving guys some minutes and progressions. And right now it's about the base of the foundation. And Frankie Westfield's done a great job there. He's fully bought in. He knows exactly what's going. He plays according to a lot of the principles that we're doing intrinsically. So, that's been a fun watch now. And yeah, we'll analyze and assess. Starting Monday next week. And yeah, the good thing the game's not this weekend, is next weekend.
Back to George.
Hey Bradley, you guys have a lot of players beyond kind of the ostensible first line guys that don't have a ton of MLS experience, a lot of young guys. I wonder how you've approached that in this preseason of trying to bridge that gap, and is that any level of concern as you kind of move forward?
Yeah, that's where I feel at home, Matthew. Just setting up an expansion team or, um, yeah, it's part of who I am, and part of the beauty of playing in a certain style and in a certain philosophy. That yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you're going to get. And some players have been working extremely hard, and they're going to get extremely not lucky because they've deserved it. They've earned everything that they're getting here in camp, and yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to be had, and there's a lot of competition. The trainings are fierce, they're intense. Yeah, I don't think they've experienced this type of intensity in a long time. So for sure, we're calculating this and not to get anyone, any worries down the line here. But yeah, we're pushing every single day, and we always believe the internal competition should be greater than the external competition. And we've seen some really good, a good couple of weeks here in preseason.
Jose Nunez.
Thank you, Nico. Bradley, Lukic, Jovan, how is he integrating? Minutes wise, he's at the same spot as Glavinovic. What have you seen from him that maybe excited you during that time in the practices?
Yeah, he's a great singer, I can tell you that. The boys had him singing last night, and he's done a great job there. So he, ever since, I mean, we've had a Zoom call meeting with him, obviously when we were going through negotiations, and the way he presented himself, the hunger he showed, the desire, just to be a good teammate and all around, just to be part of this group. And there was a certain glow in his eyes. He couldn't be more excited to be around the group, and the group's accepted him as integrated as if he's been here for a year already. So no worries there. His English is excellent. He understands everything within the philosophy. So yeah, we're excited to have him in and around our group, and hopefully he can. It's infectious the way he moves around the field, and it's infectious the way he presents himself off the field. So he's one of the guys that draws a lot of attention to him, and he just loves being around the group, and yeah, he's a great teammate.
And additionally, we saw as we watched the game, Glesnes take a knock where blood was drawn from his head. How is he doing? How is he healing? Is he available for tomorrow?
Yeah, he hasn't missed a day. Obviously we had a regen the next day, and then we had an off day, and then we've had a match day, a 4 day lead in now to the game tomorrow, and he hasn't missed a beat. So he's fine. He's been in real good form, and he's been an excellent leader. He sees that the kind of game we're giving him to play, he can really excel in, and I think we've seen the Jacob of old here. He's been a real ringleader around the group.
Thank you so much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Todd?
Thank you, Nico. Bradley, the latest signing, Eddie Davis, put your roster at 29 players. By my count, you guys have 6 strikers on your roster. Do you anticipate one of those players maybe going out on loan or potentially getting sold?
Yeah, I can't sort of add to that. Once we get through next week and tomorrow's game, then we'll start a process now in terms of building out a roster and building out who's competitive, who's laid down enough of a foundation to make a case for themselves. So yeah, I mean, some of the guys are knocking at the door. Some of the guys are still early in their development. Some of the guys, still are showing signs there they need to grow and learn. And this has been a great process for them and for me as well as a coach. Obviously having a picture from outside and then coming in, and then you get to know the characters, then you get to know, the stress points and the trigger points, and who operates best when. So that's been a great process for the staff and myself. And we'll start next week, finding the process and building down that roster.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
Thanks, Nico. Bradley, I want to go back to the center backs for a moment and ask sort of the big picture question, which is over the course of a year, how many would you want to rotate through a rotation over the course of the year? I mean, granted, talking about this club specifically in recent years, Jim Curtin stuck with 2 a lot, Jack Elliott and Jacob Glesnes, and didn't rotate from them very often unless he absolutely has had to.
Yeah.
Is that your worldview? Do you believe in more rotation than that?
Yeah, it's tough to say right now, but what I can say is that I don't think we have too many midweek games, right? I think that we have 4 throughout the season, and then there's potentially an Open Cup game and what have you, and a couple more there after that. So I think the schedule is different to years prior. I can't say how and what happened prior, but I'm never afraid of changing. I'm never afraid of fresh faces in the lineup. I'm never afraid of using all the substitutes. So yeah, I'm excited, and all I can only give is what I'm seeing in training and who's earning and who's deserved of those minutes. So yeah, we don't have the condensed schedule as years prior. So yeah, we'll evaluate and see as needed. But again, I think. Everyone who's played in that centre back role, Oluwetu Makanya has done a great job. Jan, we know what type of quality he can bring in. And I know that Jacob is finding his feet again in terms of getting back to the old Jacob. So yeah, and Neil's going through that growth development process as well. And he's showed some great signs. We've put him in some tough spots, and and this is now his learning. And we'll guide him and assist him through that to be the best version of himself, and to come through and be knocking on the door pretty soon.
And final question will go to Matt Ralph.
Hey, Bradley. That's actually a good segue, Jonathan, to my question, which is about the U.S. Open Cup. It's been we know there's going to be a home game. It's been a while since fans have been able to watch a game here. Just curious your thoughts about the competition, and obviously May. You did mention there's not a lot of midweek games. May is going to be a really busy month for the club, so I'm just wondering where that fits in terms of the priorities as you plan ahead for the season.
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt. Thank you. It's anytime there's some silverware up for grabs, I think that's an opportunity. Yeah, the Open Cup games, come thick and fast. And when you have a good rhythm and you're in a good routine and, you have that first round and potentially successful, and then you're just a couple of games away from some silverware. So, I think this is a great iteration of, some tradition within the American soccer landscape. And yeah, I know it all too well. Obviously from St. Louis and that U.S. Open Cup history there as well, with that team in St. Louis. So for sure, it's something that we value. For sure, it's something we know that our fans value, and it's for sure something we want to take seriously.
Thanks, Bradley.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bradley. Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.